Most often, dance flows from music, but tonight's performance flows from feelings evoked by words, accompanied by rhythms. You will have the great pleasure of seeing the Wing and A Prayer Pittsburgh Players as they perform the book, Warrior Mother. Please welcome my very courageous and beautiful friend, Sheila Collins, who is an inspiration to all of us.
I am the mother of a gay man, I said, into a talking stick microphone in front of 100 people, which is kind of like today, I guess. I could hear my heart pounding in my chest. I took a breath before speaking again. The year was 1991, the place Marin County near San Francisco. As a dancer, I was participating in a ritual performance to highlight the problem of HIV/AIDS, which by then had become a worldwide pandemic. The people listening to my somewhat shaky voice were gathered in an outdoor courtyard of a high school where we'd been rehearsing together for 5 days. The rehearsals would culminate in a public performance directed by one of my most admired mentors, dancer, choreographer, Anna Halprin. And I said into the microphone, I don't know how to be his mother. Rich and I were packing to go on a sailing trip for a week-long sailing trip in the San Juan Islands near Seattle. And I got a call from the jail in Highland Park. This made me smile since Highland Park is a small, wealthy residential enclave completely surrounded by Dallas. Its police station and jail are in the same stone-like structure as its city hall, and the building is barely bigger than the homes in the neighborhood. Leave it to Ken to get picked up in Highland Park, I thought. But the situation was more complicated because he had acquired tickets in several jurisdictions. One as far away as Waco, Texas, which in our family we call Wacko. So anyway, if he couldn't pay his ticket, and he couldn't without me, he would spend 2 nights in each of those jails until I got home. Well, I consulted with my friends, I talked with my therapists and lawyers, and I prayed for guidance. What I was doing was not working, that was clear, and I knew that I had to change my behavior. I was not having any luck in him changing his. I went to the police station, I paid the $400, and I left. Later that day, a very contrite hangdog Ken sat at our kitchen table. He mumbled a feeble sorry, but I felt I needed to let him in on the process that I had used to decide on my actions, which on the surface looked like all my other actions. No, Ken, I said, I need to apologize to you. I'm sorry to get you out of jail yet another time after all those other times that I said I would never do it again. Ken looked up from the floor and his eyes darted side to side as if he were thinking, what has she come up with now? I'm sorry I got you out because obviously you need to have an experience of jail, and I keep getting in the way of your having that. Ken tried to interrupt me, but I forged ahead. I didn't do this for you, Ken. In fact, it was a totally selfish decision. I did it for myself. Rich and I leave for our vacation this weekend, and I would not be able to enjoy myself fully knowing that you are touring the Texas prison system. I realized that what I needed this week is for you to not be in a series of jails while I'm in a sailboat far from the mainland. So now Ken is looking at me as if he's fallen behind Alice's looking glass alongside of Mother, who is taking lessons from the Queen of Hearts. So as in our usual arrangements, you will need to pay me back, but I'm not going to say that I'll never get you out of jail again. I don't know what I'll do the next time. I feel unpredictable, even to myself. I began walking out of the room and then turned, as any good actress might, to deliver my exit line. The only promise I will make is that whatever decision I make the next time, it will come from whatever I need at the time.
I live up in Shadyside. I've lived there for a long time with my spouse and children. One of our adult children is in the room, and therefore, he's the perfect one. You will not hear anything about parenting him. But one of our children, on the way to get her driver's license, she totaled the car. She was fine, but didn't get a license for 5 years, and that was okay by me.
And if we could have a song. I think that this theme is really about joy and sorrow. I know that one of the things I remember learning very early in working in InterPlay is that laughter and tears, when they are together, there God is. We came to Pittsburgh in 2005. Our daughter had died in 2004. And so when you come and people say, so how many children do you have? And then your brain goes through the long answer, the short answer, the one that I have to take our them answer, or so. I mean, when you're doing stuff, when you're bailing, you're bailing. So I didn't, I wanted to just go through the pieces slowly. We're doing good. In the midst of the big suck, my husband Richard would say, when people would ask how we were doing. Then we'd smile and shake our heads and feel grateful for how good we actually were doing under the circumstances. By the end of the first year of Corinne's treatment, which wasn't working, we had given up, holding our breath, waiting for the next shoe to drop, because whenever it did, it only seemed to double our trouble. The big suck didn't go away. Rich's mother, Pearl, the head warrior in the Jewish wing of the family, was constantly amazed by the challenges that just kept coming for Corinne and about her unwavering faith in Jesus Christ. I envy her faith, Pearl would say, but I don't understand it. I can't imagine how she stays so faithful. Socrates' advice to his students to practice dying was incomprehensible to Pearl. She would say, "What a lousy system. You live, you struggle, you get sick, and then you die." She never mentioned what system she thought would work better than the one we had, but she definitely disapproved of the one we were experiencing. One day, just after we'd gotten more bad news, I was talking on the phone with Pearl from our hotel room in Houston. She felt so bad about all that Corinne was going through, and on this day, her anger at the situation got the best of her. "So where is her Jesus now?" she said into my ear abruptly. From where I was seated in our hotel suite, I could see Corinne in the next room sitting on her bed reading. "I can't say about Jesus," I told her, "but right now Corinne is reading a book about Job. I think he's one of your guys."
When you go down, 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 then life turns you all around. It's the big suck. Life pulls you down and it pulls you all around. It's the big suck. Life pulls you down and it rolls you all around. It's the big suck.
So that's what we do. We just make up stuff and have fun. So, by the way, that making up stuff and having fun is one of the big ways I've made it this far that I'm standing here. I wrote this shortly after this. What I'm going to read to you is after I really knew that she wasn't going to make it. I was pretty sure. So I decided I would go to the hospital chapel to pray. I didn't add to pull myself together, but that was my intention. I opened the chapel door expecting a faintly lit place for quiet meditation, but the room was bustling with people. An African-American woman minister and several women singers were preparing for a lunchtime service, and the small room quickly filled with staff, patients, and visitors. As the service began and the praise choir began singing, I realized that quiet was not on the agenda and quickly adjusted my expectations. Corinne loves Jesus, and I love to sing, so this could work out, I thought. I soon recognized it is not possible to sing and cry at the same time. So I alternated. I would sing for a while, and then I would cry. I remembered a line from a folk song, "Singing is a way of weeping in the soul." And it reassured me that through these songs, both my body and my soul were weeping for my daughter, her 3 young children, her husband, her father and stepfather, her brother, and myself. I approached the minister. She stood behind a railing, and I knelt before her. I mumbled a few sentences about my situation through my tears. The minister interrupted me. "Your daughter has had a bone marrow transplant," she said. Well, this shocked me, since that wasn't one of the things I'd said, and I wondered how she knew. Thousands of people were treated at the cancer center on a weekly basis, but only a handful of them had bone marrow transplants, and hardly any of them would be anyone with breast cancer. Yes, and in spite of that, I said, the cancer has spread. The minister's expression changed dramatically. Her pupils shifted to the sides of her eyes, and she said, "God tells me that your daughter is already healed." As I studied her face, I did not doubt her sincerity, but questions swirled around in my head. I wanted to believe that what she was saying was true. Checking in with my body, I felt a clearing and some relief from the pain I'd been carrying. "Let us pray," the minister said, placing the palms of her hands on the sides of my face, over my ears. As I bowed my head, she prayed out loud for my daughter and me, and though her words are lost to me now, I can still feel the tremendous energy emanating from her hands. Looking back, this incident with the minister provided a lesson for me in the difference between a person being healed and a disease being cured. Of course, I wanted Corinne's disease to be cured because that seemed the only way she could stay with us. But I was witness to the growth that she had made. I could see she had healed into a whole person, full of love and compassion for herself and others, and I could not deny the effect her healing presence was having on others. She was indeed being used, as she had prayed to be used, for God's own purposes.
The journey changed every day, never knowing what the next message would be.
Men and women do this stuff. Really do.
Calling the doctor from the payphone outside the restaurant. He told me, "Corinne will not make it."
Of course, I'm with her every day.
"I knew it," he said, as soon
I'm
as he
there.
diagnosed her.
And I need to be strong for her.
"You are wrong," I told him. "We will speak to others." I hung up the phone and wept.
So my son-in-law and Rich, of course, they kept working because that's what men do. You keep working, and you have to be strong to work. So it's a different kind of strong.
I didn't want to face it. I didn't want to believe it. I didn't tell him. I held him inside.
So there were things we couldn't talk about. Not together. No, not together.
And she would talk about it. And I would say, "I don't want to talk about it."
So that's what I mean when I say men and women do this really differently.
Even now, I don't really want to talk about it.
Isn't it great that we have so much more to talk about?
But as Ken said, the show must go on.
So today's the one-year anniversary of the day your mommy went to heaven, I told my grandchildren as we gathered around the family's dinette table. 11-year-old William's eyes were wide. Has it been that long already? Yes, it's hard to believe, isn't it? But I have an idea of something we can do to honor your mommy on her special day. We'll need some magic markers and crayons. I know where some are," Tori said, and she promptly leapt from her seat. She grabbed a chair, scooted it over to the desk in the kitchen, and stood on its seat. Climbing onto the countertop, she reached the upper cabinet and the family's school supplies. We took similar balloons and placed them on the dining room table. The children were invited to decorate these and write messages on them to their mother. Then later, we were planning to bring them to a high hill and release them. 13-year-old Ethan made lots of X's and O's around the edges of his balloon. Will and Tori drew hearts and flowers to go along with the central message. "We love you, Mommy. We miss you."